HLB scale as our important topic. So as nothing is mentioned here, but a very important scale is mentioned here, right? So let's discuss in brief what exactly this HLB scale means, and we'll quickly go through these slides as well. So as per the name, it suggests HLB, that is hydrophilic lipophilic balance, right? So you all must remember, we have studied about the surfactant. We have studied about the surfactants. So the surfactants which were able to reduce down the surface tension, they contain both polar and the non-polar part. That means the hydrophilic part and the hydrophobic part. Hydrophobic part, which is also known as the lipophilic part. So that is why there must be a balance between the hydrophilic and the lipophilic groups, right? So any surfactant you classify, there must be a HLB scale on its part, that the surfactants based on its own nature is going to impart which type of property. For example, we have the balance up to the scale of 1 to 20. Please remember, we have this scale from 1 to 20, right? Why do we need it? Because of the classes of surfactants, we have seen they contain both hydrophilic and lipophilic groups. Both the groups act very differently, and because of their ranges, they show exactly the different properties. For example, one surfactant can be oil in water type, other can be water in oil type, one can be ionic, non-ionic, imparting detergent properties. So it all depends upon their HLB value. That is why it always comes down to their structure, their HLB values. Okay, so we have values ranging from 1 to 20. Okay, here you can see as the HLB value increases, as the HLB value increases to 20, it turns more into a hydrophilic type, right? It turns more into a hydrophilic type, right? As the HLB value decreases, that means towards 1, the lipophilicity actually increases, right? So HLB value, when we have HLB from 1 to 5, let's say 7 or up till 10, it is imparting the lipophilicity. As you increase it to the value maximum of 20, it increases in the hydrophilicity. One important question, only one surfactant which has an HLB value of 40. We have one important surfactant which has an exceptional value of HLB 40, and the name of the surfactant is SLS, sodium lauryl sulfate. Very important detail. Sodium lauryl sulfate. This is an exception to our traditional HLB scale values ranging from 1 to 20. This question is asked in a lot of times. HLB value 40 is of sodium lauryl sulfate. Okay, now we have to see these values are classified and what type of surfactants do we actually have. So this is the simple HLB range starting from 1 to 3. These includes anti-foaming agents, right? Second, we have 3 to 6. These include water in oil emulsifying agent. Example, spans. Next, we have 7 to 9. This includes wetting agents, right? Then we have 8 to 16. Oil in water emulsifying agents. Example, tweens. Then we have 13 to 16. We have detergents. Example, tween 20, tween 40. Then we have 15 to 18. We have solubilizing agents, SLS, right? So SLS is an exception because of its higher HLB value. Okay. Now, one important way you can remember all this is by noting down their first names. ODS, ODS, right? A stands for anti-foaming agent. W stands for the water in oil emulsifying agent. This W stands for the wetting agent. Then O stands for the oil in water emulsifying agent. D stands for the detergent and S stands for the solubilizing agent. So this is a simple trick by which you can remember the HLB scale values and the categories by ODS, anti-foaming, water in oil emulsifying agent, wetting agent, then we have oil in water emulsifying agent, then we have detergent, and solubilizing agent. So by now it is clear, we generally have up to the value of 20, but we have an exception of SLS, that is having the HLB value of around 40. Okay, so can you see if the value is around 1 to 3, they may ask you directly, it will be anti-foaming agent. If it is around 9, then it will be around oil in water emulsifying agent, and so on. Right. So how do we determine these HLB values? How do we calculate? As I mentioned, in these surfactants, we have both hydrophilic and lipophilic group numbers. But basic formula where we have not classified which type of surfactant it is, we say simple formula is hydrophilic group number minus lipophilic group number plus 7. Now these group numbers are directly mentioned in the question, so you can just put an answer yourself. So HLB value is hydrophilic group number plus minus lipophilic group number plus 7. Please note down hydrophilic minus lipophilic group number plus 7. Okay. Second number we have sometimes in the case polyhydric groups are present. Polyhydric groups are present as well as ethylene oxide chain. For example, in the case of spans, twins, right? So ethylene oxide chain or polyhydric groups is present. Then we have E plus P upon 5. We have E plus P upon 5. In the case where no polyhydric group is present, you can calculate it by HLB is equals to E upon 5. You can calculate by this formula also, right? Third, sometimes in ingredients like beeswax you have seen, right? So sometimes we have the use the fatty acid as well. So you have the saponification number of the ester and the acid number which is directly mentioned in the question. So just by putting the formula HLB is equals to 20 into 1 minus this S will be saponification number, A will be the acid value. So in the question you will be given the statement for what you are calculating. Just remember, for ethylene oxide chain and polyhydric containing groups, for example glycerol or sorbitol, we generally calculated by E plus P upon 5. For the generalized formula we have hydrophilic group number, summation of hydrophilic group number minus summation of lipophilic group number plus 7. Then in this case where we have take the fatty acids like we take beeswax or larger structures, right? We have the acid value and the saponification value because we are using soaps that are acting as detergents also. So using the fatty acid component as an example is fine. So we have 20 into 1 minus S upon A. S will be the saponification number, A will be the acid value. Okay, so this is another very important slide which summarizes all the important surface active agents and their HLB values. At least one question is for sure from this table only in the last year, as well as in 2024, 2023, 2025 the questions has been asked. For example, you may remember for the oleic acid the value is around 1, right? For next important sodium lauryl sulfate you can see around 40. So direct question at least on one of this they may ask, right? But for this span you can get an idea from the previous slide. Okay. Then important, Traeger gun is very important. We have around 13.2. These questions I am marking have already been asked and repeatedly, sometimes in matched form, sometimes in their direct question. For oleic acid there has been a direct question for sodium lauryl sulfate as well. Next, other important ones are this bridge 45 and this bridge 35. Direct questions on their names as well as on their HLB values. At least the ones I am marking, please note it down, right? For example, polyoxyethylene monostearate. Polyoxyethylene monostearate bridge 45. It is around 11.1, right? For the polyethylene glycol 400 monolaureate, we have around 13.1. Okay. For polyoxyethylene lauryl ether, which is bridge 35, we have around 16.9. So at least the ones which I have marked with red, that must be 100% important for you all to remember. Other ones you should write down, and once in a while while doing revision you must check these examples. Otherwise, I am repeating over and over again, the ones which I have marked in red are highly important. Okay. Okay. So let's see simple questions on the topic which we have seen. HLB system is used to classify. We have seen the surfactants contain both hydrophilic and lipophilic groups. So we have to make a scale by balancing out both of these. So surfactant is the simplest and best example which is used for the HLB scale. Okay. So here we have our value starting from 1 to then going towards the 20. As soon as the value increases, the hydrophilicity increases. Next, surfactants are characterized by the presence of water soluble groups, fat soluble, water and fat soluble, or groups with positive charge. I have been saying this since the time I have started this class that surfactant contains both hydrophilic as well as the lipophilic groups, right? So it must be clear both water and the fat solubilizing groups, right? Okay, next. The HLB value of sodium lauryl sulfate. See, direct questions. I am not joking. These are direct questions repeatedly asked. We have 6.5, 13.8, 25 or 40. Directly I told you it is a solubilizing agent with an exceptionally high value of around 40. Okay. Option D here is correct. So this was the scale you have read here. It is around the 40. You can check the reference book also. Right. Next. Detergents usually have the HLB value in the range of. So for this you must remember the trick I have told you for categorizing this. We have ODS. We have anti-foaming agents. We have water in oil solubilizing emulsifiers. We have wetting agent. We have oil in water emulsifying agent. Then we have detergent and then we have solubilizing agent which was around 18 to 20. So we are left with our detergent that will be around 13 to 16. Okay. So this is the easiest way you can actually remember all this classification, right? So we have 1 to 3 anti-foaming or DS. 3 to 6 water and oil emulsifying agent, then 7 to 9 wetting agent, then 8 to 16 oil and water emulsifying agent, then 13 to 16 detergents, and then solubilizing agents. So these are hydrophilic and these are hydrophobic in nature. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope you all have understood the basic of HLB scale. One question I would like to drop here for you all. Let's see how many of you answered in the comment section. Who actually gave the idea of this HLB scale, like how it was discovered, what was the name of the scientist and the year. I missed it intentionally. Let's see how many of you can answer me in the comment section below. I personally check them all. I wait for your feedbacks and reviews as well. Thank you so much. We will meet in the next class. Thank you.